Alright everybody, thanks for tuning in to this video. It's another one disc round of disc golf. This time I'm using the Vibram Launch, Vibram's newest mid-range disc, just released in 2016 on Black Friday. First thing you'll notice from this disc is I have a hard time throwing it straight in my first couple of throws. I tend to grab it and hold on to it a little bit longer than what I'm expecting to, and so most of my throws during this round, off the drive at least, will go more to the right than what I'm used to. Even my putt, like right there, a little bit more to the right than what I would be used to, or what I'm used to feeling. Generally speaking, I throw an Ibex, which is Vibram's mid-range disc that's stable, just a straight flying mid-range. The Launch is very similar in flight to the Ibex in my experience, except, like I said before, I tend to take it and throw it a little bit more to the right than I would with my Ibex. It just holds into my hand a little bit longer during my drive. With that being said, though, we don't have official flight ratings for the Launch like most people expect. If we were comparing it to an Ibex, which is a 5, 4, -1, 1, I would call the Launch pretty similar to that. If I put it on a slight anhyzer, it stays on that line the whole time. If I put it on a slight hyzer, it once again stays on that line very, very well. And when thrown flat, it stays flat for the whole flight. I have a hard time taking this disc and popping it up through a normal hyzer flip. It's a brand new disc, so it might beat in a little bit more and start to do hyzer flips at some point. But most of the time, as I was throwing it, it would just stay on whatever line I would release it out of. Keeping in mind, once again, this is a wooded course, as you can tell through all the video. There's a lot of precision shots that need to be made, and to be honest, with this particular mold on this day, I did not really get the shots or the lines that I wanted to. This footage comes from a comparison video I did between the Ibex and the Launch, and I've just isolated the Launch shots only for this particular one. On the Ibex, I went -7 for the day. The Launch, I believe I go -1. Just ignore this shot right here. I never forehand mid-range discs, but I thought I'd compare both of them. So you can see the Ibex there and the Launch went to about the same spot. Both of them were terrible throws. I just need to learn to forehand a mid-range at some point. My initial thoughts for the Launch are I'm unsure as to if I like it or not right now. Like I said, when I threw it correctly, it flew just like I would have expected an Ibex to fly. So whatever line I put it on, it stayed on that line. I could throw it about 280, 290 pretty consistently. My Ibex tops out at about 320. So I imagine I'd get the Launch about that far as well if I threw it correctly. The biggest problem I had with the Launch is it just felt off in my hand. Not that it's flat topped or domey per se, but it was more rounded edge. I've heard some people compare the feel to like a coyote. It felt to me more like a rock, but I haven't thrown a rock in about 4 years, so I don't remember if that's really what they feel like or not. Before I started throwing the Ibex, I was throwing a Buzz, and the Ibex and Buzz at the time I started throwing the Ibex felt similar. Now when I pick up a Buzz, it does not feel like an Ibex at all to me. But definitely the Ibex seems to be a flatter, sharper edge than the Launch, whereas the Launch seems to be a little bit more rounded and domey in my hand. When I threw the disc correctly, it was phenomenal. It did just what I wanted it to, like an Ibex would. But at the beginning, I kept taking it to the right. Just every time it would just release a little bit later than I was expecting, and all of my shots were getting me off into the woods. Then I'd try holding the disc a little bit lighter, and then all my shots would start going left because I wasn't holding it the same comfortable way I was used to. I've since played with the Launch outside of this course, and I like it more. I'm still not a huge fan yet, and I don't think it will replace my Ibex, but I'm getting more comfortable with it the more I practice with it. But it's hard to get rid of an Ibex, which is a staple disc in my bag for the last 4 years. Once again, if I stick it on a line and just crush it, it holds straight. I was able to throw this one about 290 to 300, not too big of an issue at all. It's a phenomenal flying disc when I throw it correctly. I just tend to have a harder time getting it to go straight like I wanted to. Thanks for watching this particular disc, this one disc round of disc golf here at Spring Valley. Y'all have a great time.